Yeah.
Dad, where's
Yes?
the safest place to be if it's if the car broke and there's stuff coming in where?
In the safest place? Nowhere.
It's coming. It's in the back. Dude, it's coming. In the back because it usually comes at the front.
Yeah, but it comes at the back too. Goes at the back, goes over the front, the top, the back.
But this one can kill you and that one.
Why not? Why do you say that?
See what's happening? It can go into your mouth.
Go into your mouth.
No.
Hey, welcome to episode 47 of a Bookmob. Okay, what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about the new novel by Sally Rooney, INTERMEZZO. But more than that, we're going to talk about all her previous 3 novels. The idea that in this late stage of popular culture, that a writer can come along and write about a subject, a topic, a plot, an idea that has been literally written to death, and that is about youth and sex. What makes Sally Rooney so different an author that her books from 2017, Conversation with Friends, her second book, 2018, Normal People, and her third book, I have to look it up, I can't remember the 2021, and finally her fourth novel, INTERMEZZO, in 2024. I'm always, I know nothing about the publishing industry. I don't know how books get published, picked, chosen. Do they do it on the writing? Do they do it on the style? Do they do it on the magical process that when you read it, you suddenly have this epiphany of brilliance? The last one, Epiphany of Brilliance, I mean, if you read, and I've read all 4 of Sally Rooney's novels, is certainly not something, you don't read them and go, oh, wow, these are, I mean, she's a successful novelist. I mean, her first 2 books, I think, and I judge, I mean, in our society, we judge success by sales, by money, by exposure, by marketing, and by what is produced on the in television or streaming services. And I think her first 2 novels have already been created, made visual. I haven't seen them. I've got no interest in seeing them. So I can't really comment on what the content, what do you say, the translation of her subject into visuals. I'm sure it's very sexy because her novels ultimately are dealt with upper middle class, educated people with a few working class stiffs thrown in for good measure. But Sally Rooney herself is well educated, comes from a, I guess you would say that she's her political viewpoint is left, on the whole, she supports the Palestinian people and blah, blah, blah. So what are we getting from her books that make her such a bestseller? I mean, I don't know anyone personally who's read Sally Rooney's books. Like I said, I've read them. I've enjoyed them. I mean, I think of them as post-juvenile literature. They're not juvenile, but they certainly, her work doesn't transcend literature. It doesn't transcend any kind of serious point of view about writing and books and publishing. And again, I go back to my first original point, is how do they choose writers to support? Now, if you're out there in the world, you're looking for something to read. Can I say that Sally Rooney's books are for men or women? Now, the argument could be, oh, they're for anybody. But seriously, they are directed, I think, from the feminine experience. How her characters deal with sex, mainly sex, occupation, status. There's some kind of, in her first two books, there's some kind of sort of class system that is working, but nowhere near the beauty or the charisma of Jane Austen. And what I'm saying is, perhaps authors are looking for a Jane Austen type person that they can promote and market in order to sell millions of books. And it comes across as disingenuous the way I'm talking about it. But however, I have bought all the books. I've paid my own money. What I'm saying is that I've gone out, I've seen Sally Rooney's work, and I've bought them as they come out. I'm generally interested in brand new authors. So when Conversations with Friends came out, I'd never heard of Sally Rooney. I had no idea who Sally Rooney was. She's an Irish writer, and the Irish are quite big in the canon of Booker winners. So I figured that I should at the least give her the opportunity for me to read her books. Now, I remember when I read Conversations with Friends, I was slightly entertained. I mean, I could easily recommend that book to women. I would not. I literally could not, because I'm a reader. I'm allowed to read anything. But if I'm going to say I've got 6 nephews, all right. I would not. If they were going to read a book, this is not a book that I would say, hey, read this, because in fact, the age group. I mean, Sally Rooney was born in 1991. I think she's part of Generation Y or something. I don't know. Why the fuck are we here? So she's sort of grown up into the 21st century. Obviously, everything's changed. A lot has changed in her first 10 years of life. The end of the Cold War, the birth of the internet, the birth of wokeness, the birth of political correctness. So she's come around and come alive in a period of Western civilization when men have been subordinated to all kinds of tasks that they are not wanting to be part of. So, if I say read Sally Rooney, I'm talking to a feminine audience, because I really don't think young men will enjoy her books, even though she writes about sex and intimacy and people fucking in a way that I guess young people can associate with. Going to bars, picking up. I mean, the idea of picking up someone. I mean, we don't even really know what it is. I mean, what do you mean picking up someone? It's more of a. To me, Sally Rooney is a writer whose female characters choose her lovers. She chooses her lovers. She doesn't pick her lovers. She chooses the array of men that are waiting in the textual wings. Basically, have no ability to impress her, because at the end of the day, her characters say, "I choose you to be intimate, to have sex with, as far as I want you to as a character." Now, that may sound so highfalutin you can hardly stand it. But I've enjoyed. I mean, at her 4 novels, I enjoyed I think Normal People was the one that I kind of went, yeah, this is one I like. Lost a lot of, this one was hard to finish. And finishing her latest book, Intermezzo, where she basically takes the lives of two males, 10 or so, I think 12 years apart in age, brothers, and she demonstrates their lives, their sex lives. I mean, they have professional lives, but it's really, again, Sally Rooney is talking about people who are fucking and want to be sexually involved with. So, again, men might enjoy the titillation, but it's really not written in. There's no pornography here. There's no erotica here. It's pretty straightforward, middle class, missionary position sex. And there's a struggle reading the fourth book, Intermezzo, because you don't really like, and don't forget this is a personal opinion, you don't really enjoy or like the male you don't like how they behave, how they treat other people. And I don't know what she's doing. I mean, what is Sally Rooney doing? Is she saying to herself, I've got to make some money, I want to print books. I got lucky with conversations with friends, and I'm just sticking to this idea of, sexual complications in the early 21st century culture. I mean, really, her books are vapid. There is some literary merit, because she does work at it. She does create characters. She does have a plot. She does try to bring out some kind of reality into her novels. But at the end of the day, I still don't understand how publishers chose Sally Rooney amongst the millions or thousands, okay, let's not get carried away, perhaps the thousands of novels that are presented to publishers to buy and to publish or mass publish for the world. I guess when you look at Sally Rooney, she's a female, she's Irish, she's leftist, she's talking about the female experience, and I think that is part of the package that allows publishers to think safely and securely that we can take this writer, we can print and publish her books, and we can make some money. Boy, that sounds like... what does that sound like? Sounds like so mercenary of me, doesn't it? But quite frankly, why did I read Sally Rooney? And I told you before, I read her because I like finding new authors, and I discovered Sally Rooney back in 2017-18 when I read Conversation with Friends. And when her second book came out, I grabbed it because I'd read her first. And then again with her third book, I grabbed it because I'd read her second. And now with her fourth, I grabbed it because I read the first three. So will I read her fifth book? I don't think so. I am thinking perhaps if she goes for a total left field, she kicks the ball out of touch and tries something really, really magnificent. Perhaps then I'll go and give her another go. But I think the four books that Sally Rooney has written have not entirely added to the canon of literature in the early 21st century. Obviously, again, I'm saying that the publishers obviously say to themselves, there's something in this, we can sell books. I think her first, I'm not sure which one, was it this one? No, I'm trying to think, one of them was shortlisted for the Booker Prize. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, not that the Booker Prize actually has the same power or magic that it once did, because I guess the Booker is also part of this Generation Y, this overcoming of the old world, taking over the positions of power, publishing power that is, and giving us their idea of the future. The great thing about books is that regardless of how poor books are presented and written in the future, there are millions of books in the past that you can find. And I'm just saying that I chose Sally Rooney because she was a writer I'd never heard of. I followed her. I've bought 4 of her books, and in each book I have not found myself enthralled, captured, surprised at all. I see a well-structured, stylistic story. I can see characters. I mean, everything about it is intellectually and practically done. Tell a story A to Z, and she does that. Unfortunately, after 4 Sally Rooney novels, I personally am saddened that new writers have not brought anything magical, nothing special, nothing gutsy to literature in the last 10 years. It's becoming harder and harder to find a book or a novel that when you open you go, fucking hell, this is really fucking good. But so far I find more of that in the past than I do in the present. Perhaps Sally Rooney will overcome her sort of pedestrian banality of romance, because obviously she can write. I mean, obviously she has skill and talent, because otherwise I guess they wouldn't have chosen her novels. So sadly, I can only offer this book as a Intermezzo Sally Rooney, the 2024, as a chick lit. Now, some people go, yeah, it's sexist chick lit. No, but I mean, you'd find it really hard for young male readers to engage with this book, because it is so, that the feminine doctrine is so fucking dogmatic and so powerful, it just smothers the fucking men. And there are 2 men. I mean, the one thing Sally has done in this book is her characters are 2 men, brothers, years apart, and both of their struggles and their sort of actions in dealing with sex. And when I say sex, I actually should say dealing with fucking more than sex, because the way they behave, the way the girls behave or the women behave, is kind of like, it's very, very shallow, and it's not really enticing or erotic at all. Maybe that's what she was aiming for, who knows. Anyway, so that's all I can say about Miss Sally Rooney, the Irish lefty writer, who obviously has some talent, has produced 4 books, and perhaps she will produce something dynamic and amazing in the future. This is early days for her. I mean, she was only born in 1991, so she's got loads of time to, now that she has a publisher's power, now that she has writing certification of brilliance because she's been published, maybe she can really, really bring on something fantastic. All right, so that's it for Intermezzo, which I bought it again, Big W, for I think it was $16, which is better than paying $25 at the regular bookstore. My next book to read is the Warwick. I call this fantasy fiction. The Warwick, Jeffrey Archer's Warwick, the Commander Warwick, the cop who's risen through the ranks. Takes me. I mean, you could read this in fucking, I don't know, 5 hours if you wanted. Regardless of that, that's what I'm reading now. I've just finished 3 other science fiction novels that were both frustrating and great and weird, and I'll talk about them in the coming weeks if I have the power to do so. All right, so thanks for joining in. If you're still here, I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, ask questions. If you've got books that you would like me to read and comment on, feel free just to write them. I'll try and find them and I'll read them, and I'll give you, again, this is my personal point of view. These books are how I feel, not how you should feel. Anyway, thanks for joining Bookmob, and I appreciate your time. Goodbye.